Good morning, kindergarten, or good afternoon. Maybe you're watching this in the afternoon. All right, let's read our message together today. Ready? Dear class, today is Wednesday, May 6th, 2020. It is day 168 of school. We will learn at home today. Love, Miss Andrea. Great job. Let's look up here. This is called a calendar. I did that yesterday. It's called the clock. I hope you got it right, even though my tongue is all twisted. All right, it's the clock, and the clock tells you the time. Very good. And this is the hour hand that we read first, and the minute hand that we read second. Okay? So we can see our hour hand is not to the 3, so we know the hour is still 2. Right? So 2. And we should know this. We practice this a lot. The minute hand is pointing to 30. So the time is 2:30. Fantastic. Let's move over to our calendar and talk about the date today. All right? So, our month is May. Our year is 2020. The number date is 6. Very good. The number date is 6. And if we follow 6 straight up, the day of the week is Wednesday. Good. And yesterday was Tuesday. And tomorrow is going to be Thursday. Very good. So our whole date all put together is Wednesday, May 6, 2020. Super job. Let's take a peek at our pattern. We have an A-B pattern happening here. So what's going to go here? If we have A-B, A-B, and A. Good. And the A is a green triangle. Good. All right, let's look over here at our popcorn words. Our first one, we have B-Y, and that spells what word? Buy. Very good. So let's spell it. Ready? B-Y spells buy. B-Y spells buy. B-Y spells buy. Good job. And we also have W-A-S. W-A-S. And that spells was. Very good. Ready? W-A-S was. W-A-S was. W-A-S was. Super job, kindergarten. Very proud of you. Down here with our money, this is a nickel, and nickels are worth 5 cents. Very good. And then we have 2 of these guys, which are called pennies, and those are only worth 1 cent. So we have 5, 6, 7 cents today, which we can write as a 7 with a cent sign, or we can use the dollar sign and say $0 and 7 cents. Remember, you have to put a 0 for the tens in your cents area, okay? All right, up here we're going to see how many days you have left until you are a first grader. So, yesterday you had 13 kindergarten days left until first grade, but today we're going to subtract 1. So 13 minus 1 is 12. You only have 12 more days until you get to be a first grader. All right, down here we're going to do our place values, and we have ones, tens, and hundreds, and we get to do what? Add 1 more to the ones today. This used to be a 7, but it just turned into 8. So now we have been in school for 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 161, 162, 163, 164, 165, 166, 167, 168 days that you have been in school. Bravo, kindergarten. Pat yourselves on the back, and let's go read a story. Kindergarten. Our story today is A House for Hermit Crab. I wanted to read this to you today because I was watching a nature show and it was showing how hermit crabs change their houses, how they find a bigger shell. And it made me think of this story and I thought, I love that story. I think I'm going to share that with Kindergarten. So, the title is A House for Hermit Crab. And if you take a look, you might recognize this illustrator slash also the author, because this person does their pictures and their words by themselves. And it is Eric Carle. This picture, he kind of has a style of his pictures and his art that is easy to recognize. This is the front cover and the back cover and the spine that holds the pages. All right, I'm gonna read this and then show you the pictures because there's a lot of words and they're a little small. "Time to move," said Hermit Crab one day in January. "I have grown too big for this little shell." He had felt safe and snug in his shell, but now it was too snug. Hermit Crab stepped out of the shell and onto the floor of the ocean. But it was frightening out in the open sea without a shell to hide in. What if a big fish comes along and attacks me, he thought. I must find a new home soon. No, that is the next one. Early in February, Hermit Crab found just the house he was looking for. It was a big shell and strong. He moved right in, wriggling and wiggling about inside to see how it felt. It felt just right. But it looked so plain, thought Hermit Crab. Kind of like if you wanted to decorate your room or your house. He wants to decorate his house, which is his shell. In March, Hermit Crab met some sea anemones. They swayed gently back and forth in the water. "How beautiful you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to come and live on my house? It is so plain. It needs you." "I'll come," whispered a small sea anemone. Gently, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and he put it on his shell. So now he has a sea anemone to help decorate his shell. In April, Hermit Crab passed a flock of starfish moving slowly along the seafloor. "How handsome you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to decorate my house?" "I would," signaled a little sea star. Carefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and he put it on his house. So now he's got a sea anemone and a starfish in his house. And this was the month of April, so what do you think the next month is going to be? May, which is the month we're in now. In May, Hermit Crab discovered some coral. They were hard and they didn't move. "How pretty you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to help me make my house more beautiful?" "I would," creaked a crusty coral. Gingerly, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and he placed it on his shell. So now his shell has an anemone, a starfish, and a coral. And this was the month of May, so the next month should be, what comes after May? June. In June, Hermit Crab came to a group of snails crawling over rocks on the sea floor. They grazed as they went, picking up algae and bits of debris and leaving a neat path behind them. "How tidy and hard-working you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to come and help clean my house?" "I would," offered one of the snails. Happily, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and he placed it on his shell. So in June, he added a snail who will help keep his shell clean and beautiful. So after June comes July. In July, Hermit Crab came upon several sea urchins. They had sharp, prickly needles. "How fierce you look," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to protect my house?" "I would," answered a spiky sea urchin. Gratefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and he placed it near his shell. There we go. There's the pointy sea urchins. And one is going to help protect his shell. You wouldn't want to bother these guys, huh? So that was in July. What month comes after July? August. In August, Hermit Crab and his friends wandered into a forest full of seaweed. "It's so dark in here," thought Hermit Crab. How dim it is," murmured the sea anemone. "How gloomy it is," whispered the starfish. "How murky it is," complained the coral. "I can't wait," said the snail. "It's like nighttime," cried the sea urchin. In September, Hermit Crab spotted a school of lanternfish darting through the dark water. "How bright you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to light up our house?" "I would," replied one lanternfish, and it swam over near to the shell. So now he has light too. And this was September. After September is October. In October, Hermit Crab approached a pile of smooth pebbles. "How sturdy you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would you mind if I rearrange you?" "Not at all," answered the pebbles. Hermit Crab picked them up one by one with his claw and built a wall around his shell. "Now my house is perfect," thought Hermit Crab. He's got everything just how he loves it, right? So that was October, and the next month is what? November. But in November, Hermit Crab felt that his shell seemed to be a bit too small. Little by little over the year, Hermit Crab had grown, and soon he would have to find another bigger home. But he had come to love his friends, the sea anemone, the starfish, the coral, the sea urchin, the snail, the lanternfish, and even the smooth pebbles. "They have been so good to me," thought Hermit Crab. "They are like a family. How could I ever leave them?" In December, a smaller hermit crab passed by. "I have outgrown my shell," she said. "Would you know of a place for me?" "I have outgrown my house too," answered Hermit Crab. "I must move on. You are welcome to live here, but you must promise to be good to my friends." "I promise," said the little crab. So the bigger hermit crab is going to leave, and she's going to get his home. The following January, Hermit Crab stepped out, and the little crab moved in. "Couldn't stay in that tiny shell forever," said Hermit Crab as he waved goodbye. The ocean floor looked wilder than he had remembered, but Hermit Crab wasn't afraid. Soon he spied the perfect house, a big empty shell. It looked, well, a little plain, but sponges, he thought. Barnacles, clownfish, sand dollars, electric eels. Oh, there are so many possibilities. I can't wait to get started. So now he has a whole new shell that he can decorate. All right. Let's take a look at our Bible story. All right. This one is called God's Armor. Paul wrote these words: "Dear friends in Ephesus, wear God's armor to protect you from Satan. Telling the truth is like wearing a wide belt to protect your middle. And doing the right thing is like a breastplate to protect your heart. Believing in Jesus is like putting a helmet on your head. And telling others about Jesus is like wearing sturdy boots. Trusting God is like a shield that helps you when you save you from danger. And best of all, the Bible is like a sword that frightens the enemy away. Your friend, Paul. So God tells us that truth and believing in Him and the Bible, all of these things, they help us when we have hard times and we are tempted to maybe do wrong things. These help us to stand strong and do the right thing and follow God's commandments. All right. Help me say this together, okay? 1 John 4:8. God is love. Ready? One more time. 1 John 4:8. God is love. Super job today, kindergarten. Have a good day.